Hello and welcome to today's speed build. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining us, and if not, then welcome back. So today I am so excited to be sharing this speed build with you because I have another apartment renovation, and as you can probably tell by the title of the video, by the thumbnail, we have a really fun one today. Now, if you don't know, we recently got season 2 of the show, the HBO show The Last of Us. Now, this originated from the Last of Us game, which I am probably more familiar with just because I've only seen season 1 of the show and I am yet to watch season 2 as of right now, but both are great. I absolutely loved playing the game and I really enjoyed season 1 of the show. Again, yet to watch season 2, but I just felt super inspired to build something that was going to be kind of in relation to The Last of Us. Now, the reason I chose The Last of Us specifically, because you probably know I am such a post-apocalyptic girly. I love post-apocalyptic builds. I have done so many on the channel and it is my personal favorite type of build to do. But the reason I was really inspired by The Last of Us is because they do something that is not common in a lot of post-apocalyptic situations, and that is their very iconic overgrown look that they do. Now, when it comes to post-apocalyptic and the ones that I've done in the past, the builds that I've done, they seem to be more rustic and kind of dry looking. Things that are more, I don't know, yeah, dried out, kind of lacking color, lacking life. Whereas The Last of Us goes the completely other direction where it's overgrown and there's so much greenery, and honestly it's stunning. It's something that is just beautiful, and I've always been a massive fan of it. It's my personal favourite style of post-apocalyptic, but I don't think I've ever actually done a build that surrounds that that specific I don't know, design in terms of post-apocalyptic looks. I've never had anything, I've never built anything like that. So I thought it would be really cool for this video to do an apartment that is inspired by The Last of Us, or maybe even just any kind of overgrown aesthetic that you like. But yeah, The Last of Us just seemed like a good one to go off of, and I have for the longest time been saying how much I want to do a The Last of Us inspired build, and trust me, that's still something I want to do. By that I mean like a build that's not an apartment, a build that's just a build. I've been talking about how much I want to do a city. I mentioned it in my last few videos, and yeah, it's something I still really want to do, but I was like, in the meantime, it would be so cool to do an apartment because I've never explored that area. So that is what we're doing today, and I really hope you enjoy this one. So as you can see, we are starting off with the living room, and this living room is gorgeous. I love it so much. I had so much fun with the ivy and the kind of trellises, with all the different swatches we had for different greenery aspects. I loved tipping pieces of furniture over. That just felt so fun to do. I get really like, I don't know, like really interested in tool mod when I'm doing these type of builds. Like I get so invested in using the tool mod and having things just like, you know, in a way that you often don't see them in the game. So I had so much fun just like tipping things over, having things lying on the floor. And even though it's a little bit fiddly to do, and even though like it can be a little bit annoying, I love it so much. I had so much fun. You will see me decorate the kitchen where I do something similar, so stay tuned for that. I will be moving on to the kitchen just after the living room, I believe, after the kind of like whole living space. But yeah, I love how this turned out so much. Now, I did have a little bit of a dynamic in mind, so I just want to talk through that real quick. So with this apartment, what you'll notice is that although things might be tipped over, things might seem a little bit kind of, oh, by the way, sorry, I just wanted to mention this. I did spend ages turning that little vase over and then putting the plant inside it, which I thought looked so cool, and then for some reason the vase disappeared because the game hates me. I did end up adding the vase back in, but you might not see it in screenshots because I just completely did not realize until afterwards. And so yeah, that is why the vase like isn't on the table, but I do end up adding it back in. So if you want to download this build, it will be there. But yeah, such a minor thing. I probably didn't even need to mention that, but yeah, I just wanted to mention it because I spent so long tipping it over and it just, yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, talking a little bit about the dynamic, as you can probably tell, this place, although it's run down, although there's a lot of like things knocked over and things kind of not quite in the best shape, this place doesn't look wrecked by any means. It doesn't look absolutely destroyed. It still looks like someone could live here. And the reason behind that is because I actually had in mind that in this apartment originally there was a couple living here, so I was thinking like a you know, like just two people, a couple, and yeah, they're like in a relationship, and this was like their first apartment, so they were living in a needs TLC apartment, hence why, you know, we have all of the needs TLC things like our mouse holes and our broken boxes and stuff, which usually this is an apartment I would avoid for that reason, but with this theme that I was going for, it was absolutely perfect, so I love it. And yeah, this was the first apartment they'd ever moved into together, and honestly, despite it being needs TLC, they absolutely loved it. And they had such a good time like decorating it, and they just, even though maybe it wasn't like the nicest apartment in the world, they were happy. Now, what I found was they ended up, when this kind of outburst struck, which I assume was a zombie apocalypse, because if we're basing it off of The Last of Us, and that would make sense, they played it safe and they played it clever because they live in an apartment building. So this means that this place is going to be swarming with people, like swarming. So they decided to keep quiet, stay low, and stay inside here for a few weeks. Now, I think that they definitely struggled. They definitely struggled with things like food and things like that, but they managed to get through. And they managed to at least survive in here for a few weeks. And so that's why this place still looks kind of like someone could live here, because they did remain to live here for a little bit, for a few weeks. And there definitely was initial panic. There was definitely, you know, like, oh my God, like what is happening? Like, just, you would be panicked, you would be scared. But I think because they managed to play it safe and they only really stayed here for a few weeks afterwards, they then got the chance to leave. And they still had fuel in their car because they hadn't wasted it trying to escape through the busiest period. And so they were able to use their car to get somewhere further away. And, you know, then when they eventually ran out of fuel, I don't know, they probably managed to find somewhere that they could stay. Now, I did not think that far ahead, but I did think that that was kind of the rough plot of what's going on here. And so this place is not completely trashed. It's not completely like run down because, yeah, they lived here. They stayed in here for a while. It wasn't overtaken by zombies. It wasn't like, you know, trashed by anyone. And so, yeah, they still have a lot of like functional aspects of their house. And so although they're not living here anymore, it's still somewhere that is a nice place. It's still somewhere that some, you know, people could live. So if you had Sims that possibly came across this apartment, they could live here. And I don't know if you want to actually use this game for gameplay, this apartment for gameplay. It's not in the gallery because I was like, realistically, people probably don't want to play in here, but it is functional, so please let me know if you do want to upload it to the gallery. I'm more than happy to add it. It's completely functional. I made sure that it would be, but yeah, it's just, I thought it's probably not the vibe people want to play with, but yeah, anyway, I thought I would mention it. But yeah, this place is not, you know, it's not broken and trashed and stuff. Now, what I do think is that there's probably been people in here since then that have maybe came across it and kind of looked for stuff, maybe raided it ever so slightly, but not to the extent that everything's in pieces or in ruins. So that's why we kind of have like certain things going on, like some stuff is knocked over, the walls are a little bit done in, we've got a lot of overgrown plants and things like that. But yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing that's like insane, if you get what I mean. But yeah, I thought that was really nice. Please let me know what you think of that storyline. I'm sorry that I didn't think too much more into the depth of it, but I just knew that that was kind of the rough plot of what I wanted to go for, and I thought that just seemed super cool. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on. That was kind of the rough idea I had going into this. Now, if you do want to play with this apartment, as I said, it is fully functional. Hence the reason I didn't do things like bordering up the door, because this is something I wanted to mention. I love the way it looks, like with the bordered up windows. I just think it looks so cool. But I mean, let's be honest, we're on the top floor of an apartment. We probably don't need boarded up windows, but I don't know. Okay, if this wasn't The Last of Us, if we were looking at World War Z zombies, this would maybe be, you know, necessary. But yeah, I wanted to do it for the front door, but I was like, if people do want to play with this apartment, that might be a little bit annoying. But yeah, I just really liked the way it looked, even if it doesn't make complete sense. I just really liked it. But yeah, I had so much fun with these wall, what are they called? Like decorations, like details, the wall details. So we have like the stained ones, the kind of moldy ones, the bricks, the, I don't know, stone, just different kinds of details on the walls. I love how they look so much. I think they look so cool, and I just had so much fun putting them literally on every single wall that I could find. I just thought it looked so cool. So yeah, I made sure to add greenery to like every single room, and then also the wall details to every room. I think for the bathroom, I initially didn't add any, but I do end up going back and adding them at the end. So you will see them in the screenshots at the end. Again, you might not see that little vase in the screenshots, and I'm so sorry because I feel like it looked so cool. But yeah, it was something that hopefully, I mean, I might just go back and redo some of those screenshots because it looked really cool. So actually, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, maybe I should just go back and redo the screenshots. That would make so much more sense. It's just, you know, when you have them ready and you're like, oh, but I've already done them. But that's just laziness. I'm just being lazy. I might just go back and do them. We'll see. We'll see when we get to the end of the video. But yeah, I just love how this apartment turned out. Honestly, I love this kitchen. It's very spacious, so if you do want to play with it, I feel like there's a lot of room to work with. But yeah, I feel like it really brought the story across, which I loved, and I love the flooring I used. So this one is from the Businesses and Hobbies expansion, which I don't think I've used before. I love it so much. I was playing around with different kind of tiling for that room, and I seen this one and I was like, yes, I need to use that. So yeah, I ended up using that one. I thought it looked really nice. I went for a much darker vibe in the kitchen, which I think just worked so well. Initially, I was going to go for a bit of a lighter vibe, more of a like blue color scheme, but I really, really liked the black, so I'm glad that I opted for that. Now we're moving on to the bathroom, and as you can see, we have a big bath full of plants in here. Now there is reason behind this. This is an item or an object even that I've never used in The Sims. You can probably see why. It's a bit of a random one. And yeah, I've just never used it. But for this specific build, I was like, how cool would that be if we had a bath that's a little bit overgrown, you know, like it's literally overgrown with plants because it's just been abandoned. And yeah, this place has been abandoned for a while. I'm thinking months, maybe years. So yeah, it's got a lot of plants grown inside of it. And again, functionality was important to me, so there is a shower in this room, and the drain that you can see is actually a drain that is already there. It's with the like needs TLC trait. And so I decided to put the shower just above the drain to make it look more intentional, which I thought looked really cool. But yeah, there is a shower so that you don't have to try and use this bath, because I have a feeling it's not functional correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think your Sims can use it as a bath. But yeah, here's me adding some of the ivy, which I love so much. Again, just my favorite overall look when it comes to post-apocalyptic. I feel like it's something that should be in more shows and movies and games. I find that typically when I'm doing post-apocalyptic builds, I do tend to go more for like The Walking Dead and Fallout and things like that, whereas I don't opt for The Last of Us vibes, which is crazy because it's like my favorite vibe. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why I've never done it. It's something that I definitely need to explore more. I've been saying for the last while that, you know, I want to do builds, as I was saying, around The Last of Us. So yeah, that is something that I'm still going to be doing, but I just thought it'd be so cool to do an apartment. I don't know. I really like how this turned out. I think it looks really cute, and we have moved on to the bedrooms. So this changes slightly. I do keep the bed and such, but I end up making it look a little bit more, I don't know, like it's been barged out of the way. Like it's been kind of, I don't know, like nothing is in a really like pristine shape. Nothing's just chilling. Everything's a little bit all over the place, a little bit crazy. I felt like it just felt a little bit more realistic, especially for the vibe that we're going for. So I do end up moving the bed out slightly, the dresser out slightly, and I love this bedroom so much. I actually struggled a little bit with this room initially because I was like, what can I put in here? Like how can I make this look unintentional? How can I make it look like, you know, everything's randomly placed and, you know, I don't know, like everything isn't deliberate, but honestly I think it ends up working really nicely, so I'm so happy with how it turned out. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one because I feel like I don't know, sometimes I'm like my worst critic, but then sometimes I just love like everything. So it really depends. But you'll have to let me know. I think with this bedroom, I'm honestly really pleased with it. But yeah, I'm just like, is there anything more I maybe could have added? I don't know. Definitely let me know your opinions down below. I love to hear them. But yeah, this again, fully functional, so if you don't want to play with it, it should be no problem at all. But yeah, I love how this turned out. I used the high school years bed because this is one of my favorites. I just think it works for like every scenario, and I love the wood tone, like one of my personal favorites. I do add this little lamp to the corner, and then I think just a few extra like decorations to the drawers, and then yeah, I think that's possibly it. But we are coming to the end of this video, so I do just want to say a big thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it's free and it really helps me out. By the way, I've not abandoned all the series that I'm doing at the moment, like my base game save file. More videos are still to come. I am just, you know, taking my time with things, so I'm sorry about that. But thank you all once again, and I will see you all in the next one.